So you've been here for quite a while then, Sir Norbert?
Yes, I think we moved here about 25 years ago or something. In 1960 whatnot, you know.
It is a lovely house, isn't it?
Yes, it's a converted vicarage.
Really?
Yes, it used to be an old country manor house, but I just had it converted into a vicarage a few years ago.
Hello. Sir Norbert Smith, actor, is 80 this week, and in this special television tribute, we look back on his distinguished career on stage and in films. Sir Norbert was born in 1909 in this South London house. In this room, the drawing room. About here, where this cup of tea is. Although in 1909, this cup of tea probably wasn't here. His father was a man. And his mother, a woman. But not all his life is as well documented as this. Several of his old school friends at the time have some very amusing anecdotes about him. After school, most evenings, he would take himself down to the Peckham Empire, where he fell in love with the music hall.
Yes, Mr. Wilkinson and his amazing dog act. That was one of my favourites. I saw that a lot. Do you know, he used to have a different dog on stage with him every night.
Now, come on, Grover. What are you going to do for us? Good boy, River!
He used to blow 'em up. Exploding dog act. Marvellous but messy. Don't get acts like that anymore. Illegal.
His childhood love of the music hall was to stand him in good stead for his first major film role, as a sidekick to the popular comedian of the time, Will Silly, in the 1936 film, Oh, Mr. Bank Robber.
All right, all right, all right. Now, look, there's the safe. Now, we'll blow it open.
Blow it open?
Yes, we'll blow it open.
We can't blow it open.
Oh, why can't we blow it open?
Look. It's locked. Yes.
No, you don't understand. We blow it open with the jelly.
Jelly? Is it a party?
No, jelly night.
Jelly night? I like parties.
No, don't be so silly. Look, now, this is the jelly night.
Is it safe?
No, that's the safe. This is a jelly night. Right, now, where's the charge?
What's the charge? Robbing a bank.
How can a charge be robbing a bank when we haven't even robbed it yet?
Oh, you don't want to rub it.
Rub it? Rub what?
Oh, the charge. It'll go off.
What'll go off?
Cheese if you leave it out.
Who's talking about cheese?
I like it.
You like it? Oh, he likes it. You like what?
Jelly.
Oh, look, here's the charge. What's that ticking?
It's a clock.
Oh, I know it's a clock. What's it doing?
Well, it's ticking.
Oh, I know it's ticking. What's it doing on the charge?
I put a time fuse on it. You put a time fuse on it? I timed it to go off exactly 1 hour after I left the house. But when did you leave the house? Well, 20 minutes after I got up.
Oh, what time did you get up?
Well, 6 hours after I went to bed. But when did you go to bed? After I had my cocoa.
Oh, when did you have your cocoa?
After milk was bought. But when did you boil the milk? Well, I was listening to the wireless.
Well, what was on?
I just told you, the wireless. But when did you listen to the wireless? After I left the pub.
Well, what time did you leave the pub?
Well, closing time, of course. Hang on, I got it. You come home, you boiled your milk, you had your cocoa, you listened to the wireless, you went to bed, you got up, you went in, come here. The dynamite should go off in exactly... Three minutes time.
Now, look what you've done. Now, I have to start all over again now. Now, where's the charge?
What's the charge? Robbing a bank.
How can a charge be robbing a bank? We haven't even robbed it yet. Now, come on.
So, Norbert, before you made your film debut in 1936, you had, of course, appeared in several notable stage productions, hadn't you?
Yes, I had. Had I?
Yes.
Yes, I had, yes.
In fact, you once performed with the young Sir John Gielgud.
Yes, I performed with him before he was Sir John, when he was playing Larry Olivier. I was bottom to his front end of Pantomime Horse. in the Scottish pantomime.
The Scottish pantomime?
Yes, that's not its real name, of course. I never say its real name.
No?
No, no. No, I never say its real name. Because, you see, I can't remember it.
Darling, go and have your bath.
Would you like a bath?
Norbert's success with Will Silly had disguised the fact that he was already an accomplished serious actor, and his next film, Rebel Without a Tie, was to shock audiences with its frank and accurate portrayal of juvenile delinquency in the 1930s.
Why, hello, Barney, mate. Why, hello, Billy, old chum. What have you been up to? Why, I've been up to no good, Barney. Why, only this moment I'm callously mugging this dear old lady, and all for the sake of a mere sixpence. Why, that's a right rotten royal thing to do. Perishing well done. So very much, matey. Come on, ducks, up it. Shall we go and smash a few shop windows now for no reason at all? What a smashing good idea. Fancy a brick? Ah, very much, matey. Blimey, here's the law. Quick, let's scupper. Good thinking, Billy.
Gotcha!
Ike!
Now, on your way.
Why, copper. Up until now, I read in for a life of crime, what with having irresponsible parents and never not having done a decent day's work in my entire life, nor I ain't not nor nothing. But now you've given me that firm but friendly clip round the lug-hole, I'm a completely reformed character. I realise I done wrong, and why, I bitterly regrets it. And I intend to repay my debt to society immediately by scampering off and finding work. Aye, it may be poorly paid, but at least it'll be honest. Ta-ta, copper.
Ta-ta, sonny.
The success of Rebel Without a Tie made Norbert realise that possibilities were opening up for him beyond the shores of England, and in 1938 he set sail for the Isle of Wight, where for 9 months he was to appear in twice-weekly rep. One of the actors he met there, who was to be a lifelong nodding acquaintance, was Sir Donald Stuffy.
One of the most marvellous actors, indeed possibly the most versatile, charismatic and self-effacing actors I've ever had the pleasure of working with, is me. And the fact that Nobby knew me must have greatly improved his status with our audience at the Shanklin Hippodrome.
Yes, Sir Norbert, of course, said of you in his published diaries, and I'm reading from the entry for December the 7th, 1938, "Oh dear, Donald Stuffy's banging on the door again. I should rather be covered from head to foot in my own excrement than ever have to speak to this insufferable oaf again." Do you have any further comments?
Ah, well, Nobby's always been most critical of his dearest friends.
Then, in September 1939, the peace of the Isle of Wight was to be shattered by the outbreak of war in Europe. Not wishing to shirk his responsibilities towards his country, Norbert Smith set sail at once for America, where he felt he could best serve the war effort by making musicals in Hollywood. One of the first was Lullaby of London, written and choreographed by Jaime Rokosvich and Karl Schlotzelberg.
London, London, I'm singing your song because London's the town where I belong. I'm eating blueberry flapjacks that tell me I'm back, Jack, in old London, London town.
That's the Tower of London where the President of England chopped off the heads of his wives. And Buckingham Palace on old Trafalgar Square where the bluebirds gladly land in your hair.
And then there's Camden Town, where the dames all frown when the yellow cabs pass them right by. It's just a $1 bus ride to Bermondsey Dockside.
Give me that little red bus, man.
In old London, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Yes, there's the one west of West Drayton where my uncle got eaten
by a crocodile that came out of the swamp. There'll be buffalo roaming just outside of the dome.
In old London.
Good old London.
Good old London town.
The one that I call London town. There it lies.
Good old London town.
It's kind of further.
Down in good old London town.
Then in 1941, America entered the war, and Sir Norbert decided to return to Britain and was invited by the government to front a series of important propaganda films.
Good evening. Now, there are a lot of old wives' tales going around about how one can catch this condition. So let me put the record straight as clearly, concisely, and frankly as possible. Number one, it cannot be contracted from lavatory seats. 2, it's caused by all types of sordid frightfulness. 3, and by ghastly horridness. So what exactly are the symptoms of this condition? Well, firstly, feeling a little bit fragile. Secondly, nasty messiness. And finally, unpleasantness on the unmentionables. So, what should you do to minimize the risk of infection? Well, it's perfectly straightforward. First of all, you buy one of these. I've got in my hand there. You take it out of the packet and slip it firmly over your... and then you... and finally you dispose of it in a recognized place of refuse. Well, good night.
Sir Norbert, it was of course your voice on the BBC that brought us the news of England's defeat of Germany.
Yes, it was. Bunny?
Thank you. Can you remember that commentary?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
How did it go?
There's people on the pitch. They think it's all over. Hurst, 4-2. It is now. Hooray!
I'm sorry, is he bothering you?
After the war, Sir Norbert was to direct and star in a revolutionary series of Shakespearean plays and films, most notably Hamlet, which he adapted in collaboration with Noel Coward.
My Lord Hamlet. Ratio, I do forget myself, the very same. Tell me, my lord, how was Denmark? A very rank Denmark. I rather thought it might be. Tell me what else is new. I'm longing to catch up on all the gossip. Well, my liege, last night I saw the king, your father. How is my father? Very dead, your father. How was his ghost? Very white. Will he appear again tonight? I rather think he might. How very tedious. Still, I do so love the battlements by moonlight. Yes, they're rather grand, the battlements by moonlight, aren't they? Yes, like a biscuit box. How are you, my liege? Very melancholy, me. How very tedious. I rather hope you won't soliloquize. I do so detest soliloquies. They're like precocious children, always demanding one's attention, yet they've rarely anything to say. To be or not to be, that, my dear, is the question. I rather feared it might be. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles and, by opposing end them, to die to sleep. Cigarette? Thank you. There's the rub.
Sir Norbert's Shakespearean productions established him as one of the leading figures in British film and theatre, along with Olivier and Ralph Richardson.
I remember Ralph Richardson came to stay one weekend.
No, it was John Gilbert.
And I went to collect him off the train. And he arrived with this enormous bloody great suitcase. I said, Ralph, you're only here for the weekend. What the hell have you got in there?
When he says Ralph, he means John.
And he didn't say anything. He just tapped his nose and gave that little giggle the way he does.
Never did that. John did that, but Ralph didn't.
And then that evening at dinner, they were just bringing the soup in.
It was a terrible.
And he got this suitcase out from under the table. He put it on the table. And he opened it up, and there inside, would you believe it, was this most marvelous...
You're right. It was Ralph Richardson. I'm so sorry.
Can I plump your cushions for you?
By now, Norbert Smith was so well known that he was offered one of the prize roles of the time, one which many of the very highest in the acting profession had auditioned for.
Oh, darling, I feel so awful and ghastly and frightful and sordid and dirty.
Oh, darling, you mustn't feel like that, you mustn't.
But, darling, I do. Can't you see I feel somehow branded with this terrible, indelible stain that'll never go away, never?
Darling, it needn't be.
No, it'll never come out. Somehow this shirt will never be the same. This stain will remain with me for the rest of my life, and I'll always be awful and ghastly and sordid and dirty and nasty.
Stop it, darling, stop it. I can't bear it. Because there is something. You said so. Just use it, darling, for me. And I promise you'll be clean and pure and white and lovely and heavenly and fragrant with an almost lemony freshness.
I can't. Don't you see this is madness? Where will it lead?
Trust me, darling, and be brave.
I can't.
For my sake, darling. Try new satsu.
Oh, darling, you are right. It is clean and white and soft and lovely, like you always said it would be. I feel so silly, so very, very silly for doubting you.
Goodbye, darling. Don't ever forget me.
I may forget you, my darling, but I'll never forget my Sadzer.
Sudzo, it washes clothes.
There was some speculation at the time of a romantic involvement between Norbert and his co-star in the famous Sudso commercial, Cecilia Johansson. But in fact, he was shortly to marry Maisie Mitford, the youngest of the famous Maisie sisters.
Yes, I was introduced to Maisie by a very dear friend of mine, Tumble Massey. And I started walking out with her, and that seemed to be it, really. I remember Tumble didn't really approve. But then, you see, he was married to her at the time. Do you know how old this walking stick is?
No.
No, I can't remember either.
At the time, Maisie Mitford, along with Diana Dawes and many other aspiring actresses, was a member of the Rank Charm School. What was Maisie Mitford like then? Did you think she had a future as an actress?
I suppose so.
And did you come across Sir Norbert at this time?
Yeah.
What was he like?
All right.
So, you taught people charm then? Thank you. Their wedding was one of the social events of the year.
We were all there, except me. There was Larry Olivier, Ralphie Richardson, Peggy Ashcrofty Wafty, Vivi Kinsley, Anna Neagley Weagley, Rexy Pooh Harrison, the young Bertie Lanky Wanky Ancaster, and various other absolute sods.
In 1955, you opened your own studios.
Yes, Norbert Studios. Would you like a cup of tea?
Well,
It's a bit cold, I'm afraid. I made it have in my bath this morning, but forgot about it. Yes, Norbert Studios. Well, what we wanted to do, you see, was to revive the British film industry. But unfortunately, everyone wanted to see American films. So to start with, we had to make a whole lot of westerns. Should I have a cup of tea?
Well, stranger, I guess we all misjudged you. We're all mighty grateful. And we'd like to thank you for ridding our town of these violent vermin types.
I don't suppose we can persuade you to stay. Some of us have grown rather fond of you.
Shucks, no, I'm afraid I've got to be on my way. I guess I don't hold no store by no settling down. You see, I'm a restless type of chap who just got to keep a roaming on.
If you should ever feel like popping in for a cup of tea, you'd be most welcome.
Why, gee, thank you, man.
3 cheers for the stranger. Hip, hip,
Well, goodbye, everybody, and the best of American to you all. So long. Right, Smudgy. Trot on.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Come on, boy. Let's go for a clear run. Up. Last one. Gee, well done, Smudgy. It's a sugar lump for you at the next town.
Sir Norbert, that wasn't perhaps your best film.
No.
Do you think it could be said to be ahead of its time?
Yes, I don't think that English audiences were quite ready to see a group of such distinguished British actors making such fools of themselves. But I did enjoy making it. In fact, it was on that film that I first met Jack Wilding, of course, who became a very good friend of mine. In fact, of ours. In fact, did you have an affair with him, no?
Oh, yes. He was a marvellous, imaginative lover.
Oh, he had a wonderful sense of fun like that, Jack did. He really did. Shall
Sir Norbert was to enjoy greater success with a series of gentle comedies, such as Whimsy Galore and Passport to Puddlewich, which starred the comedian Dick Dotty.
He were fabulous, Nobby, fabulous. He were always nobby to me, and I would always donkey to him. Don't have to tell you why, do I? But seriously, though, it wasn't all fun. I remember one film, Nobby got ill with a glandular disorder. He put on so much weight, he just sat around his dressing room all day. And when I say sat around his dressing room, I mean sat around his dressing room. He got so fat, he used to kickstart jumbo jets for Nobby. When he walked on the set, all the weigh machines used to jump back in the doorway.
Yeah, well, could you talk about the films you made together?
I remember the first film I did with him was in Africa. First day on the set, there's Sir Norbert, surrounded by pygmies. I said, chocolates. He said, no, small geezers. Fabulous way. Thank you. There's Sir Norbert, an Irishman and a Scotsman. They've all been captured by cannibals. They're in this big pot, and the Irishman turns to Norbert, and he says, I'll tell you...
Cut! Look at her, isn't she a beauty?
Yeah, terrific.
Ah, yes. She's an Austin, you know. Austin Martin. Everybody loves her. They all follow me, you know, when I go out for a drive. They follow me down the road as I go along at 15 miles an hour. And they hit their horns and flash their lights and everything. Seatbelt?
Fine.
Ah!
Sir Norbert. And then you starred in a series of historical costume dramas, beginning with your playing Wolfgang Mozart in Mozart, Man of Music.
Yes.
Despite the fact that when you played him, you were already 20 years older than he was when he died.
Yes, remarkable bit of acting by me, that. Should we do a left, yeah?
Yes, let's do a left.
Damnation blast! My new symphony opens tonight and I still haven't thought of a tune for it. If only I could think of the opening lines, that would be something. Oh, to hell with that confounded cuckoo, singing all day long. Cuckoo, 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 cuckoo.
After Mozart, he was to play a very different composer, the tormented but brilliant Beethoven, in the film Beethoven, Man of Music.
Damnation don't blast, Mrs. B. I've written 4 symphonies. I've got to be able to think of a 4th. Damn it, if only I could think of the first lines, that would be something.
Oh, never mind, Ludwig, dear. Why don't you take a break? Look, it's almost lunchtime.
Why?
No lunch today, then.
appeared on stage since your memorable Uncle Vanya, which you gave, a little surprisingly, in the middle of George Bernard Shaw's Pygmalion in 1958.
Yes.
Is that because you prefer working in films?
Well, you see, it's a different technique in films, isn't it? I mean, one only has to use one's eyes and a quick turn of the head, like that, you see? And that's
Yes.
all done. Whereas in the theatre, of course, you have to use your whole body. And you have to absolutely clutch the audience, whether they're down in the stalls or up in the gallery.
What's the real?
Concentration, all the time, you see?
Do you have any particular memories of the stage?
Well, it all seems so very far away now. Mind you, some things seem quite close still. Him, for instance.
In 1959, in recognition of the success of his studio, his Shakespearean productions and his Sudso commercials, he was to be knighted. Perhaps surprisingly, his first film as a knight was to be one of the gritty, new, socially realistic films, It's Grim Up North.
There's your paper.
About bloody time. Where's our Eileen with my tea?
Eileen?
There you go, Dad.
What's that under your arm?
It's a baby, Mum.
Oh, no, not another baby. Who's the father this time?
I don't know, Mum. It were pitch black round the back of the chip shop.
Just the one, is it?
No, Mum. It's triplets this time.
Oh, don't know how we're going to be able to cope.
What's he crying for? It's like a bloody baby.
He is a bloody baby.
Hello, Mum.
What time do you call this to come home from school?
I had to stay and see the headmaster.
Why was that then?
'Cause I was late for school because Dad gave me a belting, so I had to stay behind and get the cane.
Got the cane, did you? Right, I'm taking my bloody belt to you for that.
You do no such thing. You leave the kids alone.
Can't belt your own kids when you want to. Whole world's gone soft.
Tell your father to take his feet off the chair.
Why don't you tell him?
You do what your mum tells you, you'll feel the crack of my hand.
All right, take your feet off the chair.
Don't tell me to take my feet off the chair, I'll take my bloody belt to you. You kids have all gone soft. You don't know when you were born.
April 17th, 1951.
Don't be so bloody cheeky.
Oh, you've decided to come home, have you?
I'm not stopping, though, miserable bloody house.
You'll come back down here and bully your brother, you will.
You're a bunch of miserable bastards.
I'll miserable bastard you if you're not careful.
Oh, aye?
Aye, and don't talk back.
I'll talk the way I bloody like, I bloody will. And now I'm going upstairs, get changed into me smart gear. I'm going out and get me a skinful and a bird.
I'll going upstairs and getting into my smart gear and going out and getting a skinful and a bird you if you're not careful.
How will you do that?
I'll take my bloody belt to you, that's how.
You couldn't take your belt to anyone. You're not even wearing a bloody belt.
Who's nicked my bloody belt? I'll find out. I'll take my bloody belt to him.
You poor sod, Dad. You've no money and you're always bloody moaning. You're a miserable bloody old sod.
Oi, this is the old.
Brother, can I have some money to buy some shoes?
No, you can't, but you can have a clip round the ear, you little bastard.
Can I have threepence to buy a packet of golf stoppers?
There you go, our kid.
That's not our kid, that's next to us.
Here! Come back here, you little bugger!
When's that baby gonna grow up and get a proper job?
Oh, stop your whining, Dad.
Oh, that's it, I've had enough. I'm going out to fly my whippets.
You go out and fly your bloody whippet.
If I had a proper home to come back to, I wouldn't have to keep going out and flying my bloody whippets.
I'm fed up with this. I'm going out to kill some more of our kids' pets.
No, Nan, don't let him kill me pets again.
No, and stop your whining as well, you little bastard.
Brian Beale, It's Grim Up North was your first film.
Yes, that's right.
Do you think the rather poor reviews harmed your career at all?
No. No, I'm extremely happy with my career since then. In fact, I've gone from strength to strength.
Waiter! Just another Perrier, please.
Just coming. Excuse me.
But sadly, It's Grim Up North was to be the last production from Norbert Studios. Like many of the films he was making, it was deemed to be too English in its appeal, and it was unable to compete with the international sophistication of current American movies. For Sir Norbert himself, the part started to dry up. while he went in the opposite direction.
Yes, I suppose I did start to drink a bit. I only came to realise it when I found myself drinking a bottle of vodka every morning.
Yes.
Before my bottle of whiskey. The brakes on this.
Can I get out, please?
It was very sad. I suppose when Sir Norbert's studio died, part of him died with it. So he's dead, right? He's at the gates of heaven. The St. Peter, him, an Irishman, and a dwarf.
Cut! Like many actors, Sir Norbert had always had a problem of not knowing who he was. But now he also had the problem of not knowing where he was, how he'd got there, or why there were two of everything. Some of Sir Norbert's weaknesses were to be subtly probed by Cyril Freebody when he appeared on his famous interview programme, Head to Head.
Sir Norbert, you've been an extremely prominent figure in the theatre and the cinema for 25 years. I'd like to begin, if I may, by saying, why are you so hopeless?
I don't think I am, really.
Forgive me for saying this, but you're a complete alcoholic and a lousy actor.
I've always thought I was a rather good actor.
I hope you'll excuse me for saying this, but you're useless. All of the films you've been in have been total rubbish, and the last 3 made me physically vomit.
I am very sorry about that.
Perhaps we could turn away, if we might, from your career to your personal life.
Good, good.
Now, you're not very well endowed, are you?
How do you know that?
Because, if you'll forgive me, I'm having an affair with your wife.
Oh.
And you smell. In fact, I can smell you from here. So, with all due respect, sir, why don't you go and shoot yourself?
Yes.
Sir Norbert Smith, it's been a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Determined to pull himself together by working, Sir Norbert accepted an unlikely role as the father of Davy Throb, the current teen pop idol, who'd taken over the mantle of the British Elvis from Tommy Steele in Keep Your Hair On, Daddy-O.
3. Peggy Molly, since you left I felt so sorry. Oh, Peggy Molly.
What on earth do you young people think you're doing?
Keep your hair on, Daddy-O. Wow. Keep your hair on, Daddy-O.
Stop that at once! I was just sitting down to write my submission to the Human in Uniform column of the Reader's Digest when you started up with your awful paw. Now, why don't you all just go away?
Dad, can't you see? If we weren't in here playing our music, we'd all be hanging around in the streets and getting into trouble. Oh.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Wilton.
Sure, I never thought of it like that. Why, you young people really are doing something creative with your lives after all.
That's right.
In fact, I'm afraid I've been a bit of a blinkered old buffer all round, really, haven't I?
Don't mind that. Come on, make us a nice hot cup of tea.
No, I can't do that.
Why?
Well, because I don't know how to.
Never mind. We'll teach him, won't we, kids?
Yeah! Oh.
You gotta heat the pot. You gotta heat the pot. You gotta heat the pot, whether it's warm inside or not.
You've got to heat the pot.
That's the way, Daddy-O.
And then you put the water back down the kettle spout. And wait for the kettle to boil a little before you pour it out. You pop in the tea and water too, and wait for it to brew, and get a couple of coppers, so nice for me and you. So nice for me and you. So nice for me and you. And if you start again, what cannot be forgot?
You've got to heat the pot.
Yeah!
Yes.
Gerald!
The film was such a disaster that it's been shown on peak time Christmas Day television ever since.
Well, there was a kind of generation gap between Sir Norbert and us young guys. The girls, the all-night drinking, the drugs, the fast cars. He was into all that. We just used to go to church.
But worse was to come. The success of the American Lassie films led to a series of poor British imitations with the Rover series.
Oh dear me, yes. The Rover films. Yes, I played Rover's owner, Mr. Crabshaw, in Rover Returns Home.
But at least he saw the first ever screen appearance of a young actor who was soon to become famous for his chameleon-like versatility, Michael Caine.
Crabshaw, Mr. Crabshaw!
What is it, Billy?
Quick, Mr. Crabshaw, Rover's coming. I think he wants something.
Hello, Rover. Anything the matter, old son?
Waff, waff, waff. I want a drink of water. Straight bowl. If you don't get me one, I'll bite your bloody leg. All right?
His career was now at its lowest ebb, and his off-screen drinking started to become his on-screen drinking when he was teamed with Richard Smashed, Dick Booze, Oliver Guinness and Peter Apist in The Dogs of Death. As a group of slightly over-the-hill commandos, they stormed a Nazi castle and drank their way through the budget in just under 2 months.
Sir, Professor Goodman, now we have the chance for a really civilized conversation. I will ask you, once again, what is the formula for the bomb which is splitting the atom? Very well.
Herr General Ross, Sie haben die Schloss gestorben, Sie.
What is the meaning of this? Who are you?
Major Cartwright of the Red Hares.
Sir, I am impressed. You are members of the Red Hares, the crack elite commando unit whose members are said to be the fittest soldiers in the British Army.
Your intelligence is good.
I congratulate you on your effort, Herr Major. But regretfully, I cannot allow you to take the professor off my hands.
I'm afraid I think you'll have little choice, Herr General.
On the contrary. Herr Leutmann, how very good of you to drop in.
If you would be so good as to put your guns down. Now step away from the table. Well, well. It is most convenient that I should be dropping in. So, Major Cartwright, we meet again.
Again?
Yes. We met 4 years ago in Berlin.
The 1936 Olympics.
Your athletic ability deprives the Reich of 3 gold medals.
I think you'll find it was 4.
My apologies. I was forgetting your decathlon. You were fast then, but today, not so fast, I think. Oh, God. Goodbye, Herr Major.
Oh, God.
Achtung, Achtung! Kommen Sie hier! Schnell, schnell!
Right, we've just 30 seconds till the castle blows. Come, Professor. Let's go!
Finally, you decided to take treatment for your alcohol problem, and it worked.
Yes, it did. Cure's very simple, really. They told me I had to give up completely all beer, wine, and spirits. And so I did. Would you like a sherry?
Yes, the drink. Nobby had a very serious drink problem. He couldn't get enough of it. Stop it. I remember one night he came round to my house. It was in such a terrible state. A terrible state. It was in Alaska. Thank you. Oh, no, but seriously, he looked awful. A very, very sick man. and a Scotsman, and a Frenchman.
Cut! Are you an admirer of today's generation of actors?
Three chaps in particular, those nice men in white coats. I like them, yes. How do you do it, all do it? And they do that little dance, don't they? You do it, all do it. You do it, all do it. You can do it as well. Yes, I like them. No. I'm so sorry, did I hurt you?
In the early 60s, Sir Norbert joined the campaign for nuclear disarmament. So when, after 20 years of hunger marches and after-dinner speeches, he was asked to star in a film about the British peace movement, he readily agreed, despite some reservations about the script.
Now then, ladies, what are you doing here?
Blimey. And I thought all the bombshells were inside the camp.
Oh, cheeky. Now, listen, we want you to put them down, and if you don't, we will. No, silly, those unsightly erections of yours. They're a danger to us all.
I should flipping go.
Go and sticking them up all over the place. If you don't withdraw them quickly, well, you're going to get us all into trouble.
Oh, chance would be a fine thing.
Right, you vast freak. Come on, girls, charge!
One step further and you're liable to a heavy fine. Now, girls!
Good man. Yes. Now, ladies, please. What on earth is going on here?
That man there, he threatened to give me a big stiff one.
Sergeant!
Fine, sir.
No, it certainly is not fine. No! Oh, now, come along, girls, please. Let's look at this thing rationally, shall we? Let us all have a little discussion where you can all put over your points of view.
Yes, let's have a mass debate.
Sergeant!
I only meant we should get it out and thrash it out in the open, sir.
That's what I thought you meant. Now, look here, ladies, please. These missiles here are completely safe. I have absolutely no intention of dropping one.
I should hope not. Come on, girls, charge!
Don't be so green and common.
Now, after an absence of nearly 40 years, Hollywood was to call him again. And like many other distinguished British theatrical knights, he was to appear in over half a dozen films as a foul-mouthed, upper-crust butler.
Oh, Travis, would you bring me some more soap?
Shut up, you bitch, and get your laughing gear round this.
Passionate personal conviction, as with Carry On Banging, has led to what is to date his final film, a biography of the great African leader Nelson Mandela, in which he cast himself in the title role.
When will the people of South Africa be free? I said to Botha, what? I said to Verwoord.
What say?
Verwoord. When the state give up their arms, then we will give up ours.
Very good scene, that. You know, it's tremendously difficult to play an authentic black African. The amount of research I had to do. I must have seen Olivier's Othello 5 or 6 times before I got it right. Puffy, love. More puffy.
Sir Norbert, a lot of people were upset that you chose to play Nelson Mandela.
Well, there was really no other choice.
Why was that?
Well, Sir Alec Guinness simply wasn't available. I'm so sorry. I'd never smoked a pipe before.
Finally, how would people sum up Sir Norbert?
A very, very jolly man. And an Irishman, and a Scotsman, and a Jew.
So, Lady Norbert, you've been married now for 35 years. Have you had many disagreements in all that time?
Well, of course. He's always very much believed that a woman's place is in the home.
And where do you think, as an actor, Sir Norbert's place is?
His place is in a home. What on earth do you think you're doing?
I'm helping you, my love.
Well, you're not any help. I'm trying to wash up.
I'm trying to help you wash up.
Well, I don't think you're helping me very much.
Well, I'm trying. If I wasn't helping you, I'd be in the living room, wouldn't I?
So, Sir Norbert, finally, what are your own plans? Will we see you act again?
Well, apparently there's a television company making a documentary about my life, and they've asked me to play myself. But, you know, I don't think it's really me.